Why?
We're leaving too much of this shit on the practice.
Oh, wait a
court
second.
right now.
UP actually got a W so far this season.
It's Down the Blocks with Chris Young. How you doing, CY?
I'm doing well, Tom. How you doing?
Yeah, I figure we got to start this video.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, we got some good stuff, content here, and
that's how we always do it. We always sit around and chop it up for 10 or 15 minutes before we actually start the camera. We just got to start the camera rolling, man.
Yeah, CY. We had Jeremy Norquist next to us. CY. Basketball extraordinaire.
Lover of basketball.
Yeah, former EMU Eagle, or were you a Huron back there? No, you were an Eagle.
That's right, the Eagle.
Basketball and baseball.
97 to 2000.
Yeah, he's young. He's young. Not as old as this dude, Mark Dodson, fellow Michigan alumnus. You were 80, I was 79. Yeah, we're going to talk about Michigan basketball. We're going to talk all good things, hoops. Yeah, take two.
Go ahead and edit that part out.
Yeah. So I brought my stat sheet from the press room after Michigan's hammering, absolute blowout of the Vikings of Cleveland State. Mouse McFadden's alma mater. Remember the Mouse was in the house back in '86? You're too young. You're too young.
I don't remember.
See
I
why?
remember the story.
Yeah, you were probably
remember.
10. You were 10 years old.
I wish I was.
When Indiana. Dotman, you remember when the Mouse was in the house, knocked off Bobby Knight's team in '86?
Yep.
Steve Alford?
Yep.
That was a good day.
Dot, you don't look like you remember that.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he's a young dude. Anyway, let's break down this Michigan basketball team. I don't mean to get too twisted up in this, 101-53, but damn, they look good.
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah,
they look really good.
They look organized.
Yeah.
Organized.
I was telling Jeremy the day after they played, the first couple minutes, they looked really excited to be out there. A couple sloppy turnovers, like not making shots and stuff like that. Then after right before the first media timeout, they just kind of settled in, and it was like the game slowed down for them, and they were just cruising.
Yeah.
I mean, and I couldn't believe the size of Michigan.
We got Vlad in there.
On the flip
Danny
side
Wolf.
of it, well, yeah, we got Vlad, Danny Wolf, and then they brought Walters in at some point too. So they had three, basically 7-footers.
Will Cheddar's,
and then Cheddar was in there too. But
super alpha dog.
The issue that I had with that lineup is that you got three guys that are 7 foot or almost 7 foot or just over 7 foot. They still gave up 28 offensive rebounds.
That was not good.
No.
But
that shows that even when they play against these teams that have got a 6'7" center.
Yep.
Hustle and toughness beat size.
Well, yeah, as our mutual friend Wayman Britt once said, 80% of the rebounds are below the rim.
Yes.
So it's
if you don't put a body on somebody, that's a problem. So that's about the one takeaway from this game that I can look at negatively. That they kind of underestimate. Oh, we're bigger and stronger than these guys. It's not going to be an issue.
So CY, as a former player, the University of Michigan is already nitpicking his Wolverines, right?
Of course. Yeah, well, that was my
He
job,
has high
man.
standards.
So,
That's an easy one. That's not even. That's an obvious easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, put a body on somebody. That fixes that.
They weren't putting bodies. The ball was
What makes you
carrying me?
Other than you just saying I'm not going to be punked as an individual, as a culture and a program, what promotes putting a body on somebody? You hear Izzo talk a lot about what his battles that he does, his rebound and stuff. That he does.
Bring the helmets out
So what if you were instructing Dusty? How would you promote a more ferocious rebounding personality?
just you tell them to get after it. You tell them you're not going to be embarrassed by someone that's.
No, I'm in practice. Though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, yeah.
What kind of stuff do you do in practice?
Oh, you get out. I wouldn't necessarily go the route like Izzo has done with the football pads and the helmets, but you get out the rebounding ring, which limits the size of the rim. You put it on top of it, so unless it's a direct drop in, that thing's bouncing.
Yeah.
And you have to get the rebound. You have to get a defensive rebound, otherwise you're on the baseline and you run it.
All right.
And then you do the next drill. The ball comes off the rim. Everybody boxes out. That ball's got to bounce twice before someone can touch it.
Right.
You do these different drills, and then there's consequences for it.
Right.
I think that's the one major thing that this team is missing right now is that kind of toughness on on the rebounding side of the ball, that's going to stop them from being a potentially Elite Eight team.
I get that, but and Jeremy, I want you to dovetail off this. Although rebounding is effort and physicality.
Yes.
Don't you think, Jeremy, this was an in-your-face defensive? I mean, I thought they got in people's grill, particularly Trey Donaldson. Didn't you think?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I think we're treating the two imposters a little, the same to a certain extent. I think that they played Cleveland State, so you got to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
Small sample size.
Small sample size. Also, rebounding size. When you go against these mid-major teams, they don't have the size that the high majors have.
Right.
So you're ultimately gonna now 26 off 20
26
whatever.
or 28.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. That's too many, but I think that
20
when
offensive
you have the freedom of movement,
Yeah.
and you have big dudes trying to catch up, sometimes you're just going to let up. As CY knows, you're going to let up more
And
offensive rebounds.
Michigan was attacking offensively. They attacked and they attacked defensively. That it was just the rebounding thing.
It was just
it was and Cleveland State just had multiple. They had they would get 3 shots on a couple times on the court on one possession. It was like, whoa, that was.
And like Jeremy said, that's right. With the freedom of movement, you're going to get some longer rebounds. The ball's going to take some different bounces,
absolutely.
which is fine. But you can't give up 20.
Still got to box
You
out.
can give up 8 or 10. Like that's kind of the norm in this style of offense. and
Yeah,
defense.
Jeremy,
But-
the player that stood out most for Michigan, I mean, and this is a solid 10 deep, and Reuben Jones did not even play. He was injured. Was there anybody that jumped off the scale?
Obviously, it's the Wolf kid. I mean,
Yeah,
he was,
from Yale?
I mean,
Oh, Yale,
listen,
man. Yes.
It looks like he's dropped. I mean,
He dropped a bunch of weight.
Yeah, and he was bringing the ball up at 7 foot.
Yeah.
It's like CY bringing the ball up.
Yeah.
And it was quite amazing. And the one thing that you could take out of this game is that Michigan is going to be a problem.
I think they
Absolute
are.
Problem.
I think they are.
I mean, easily a top 20 team in the nation.
Ooh.
Easily.
That's
I mean,
a
it's
cool
not even.
That's a strong statement. Now, that's a small sample size, and you're still saying,
Well, but you got to look at.
don't you want to wait for the Wake Forest game at 1 o'clock ESPN2 in Greensboro
No.
on Sunday?
No,
You don't need to know that, huh?
So to the millions of watchers out here, I would take Michigan.
I love it.
I would take Michigan almost every time in the over. Now I've lost a lot of money gambling, so there you go. This
is Mr. FanDuel here.
Michigan
Okay.
in the over.
Yeah.
And take Michigan until they don't cover, because they're a problem. I mean, listen, you can't, even though they gave up all those offensive rebounds, size is a problem. And then size that can handle.
Yeah.
Like,
And then there's
The
speed,
handle.
too. The way
The
they push the
handles,
ball in
LJ,
transition.
I mean, they got dudes that can handle the ball. When you got all 5 that can handle the rock,
right.
That's-
the other kid, the freshman,
that's
the
impressive.
Kaysen kid.
Yeah.
He was excellent. I mean,
Yeah.
you get all the, and it's like, whoa. And then, you watch me, anyways, it's incredible. It was kind of shocking to me, even for who actually likes Dusty May and
Yeah.
who said last year that I thought he should get the job.
yeah.
I was like, whoa, like, he's working with something now.
Yeah, Dotman, well, who jumps off the performers from Monday night that gets you most excited for your
Wolf was
Wolverines?
good. Wolf was, I don't know, I didn't know how good he was coming out. Dartmouth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming
What are
out
you talking
Yale.
about?
Wolf.
Yale.
I had no idea how good he was. I'm
Yeah.
thinking they got transferred from Yale, and he's
Yeah.
okay.
He's big.
We've had a
I'll
couple.
stay
We've had a
up.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ivy League test, sometimes it works, but sometimes it does not. Okay.
I got a question for y'all. Is Waters? Is that his?
Yeah.
Is he just a catch and shoot guy?
Yes.
Does he have
Sam
any-
Walters from Bama?
No,
Yes.
no
He
intermediate
pretty
game?
much-
He's trying. My understanding is he's trying to develop an intermediate game, being able to put the ball on the ground and get to the bucket.
Yeah.
But he's so light that he gets bumped off a lot. Like there was a couple times that he tried to put the ball on the ground,
Yeah.
and a little bump, and he's kind of.
He pitches his tent on deep in the wing,
Yes.
and
he's a
I saw it in
he's a
practice,
knockdown
and he
shooter.
can knock him down, man.
But-
Can he pose? Any
No.
No, not that I saw in
He
practice.
straight up catch shoot.
Yeah,
catch
I
shoot.
mean,
that's fine.
He's got to be what 210, 215 at best. Like,
I think he's
yeah.
going to have limited playing time, is what I'm saying.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, if that's the case, then fine.
Yeah,
There's
no,
plenty
he's-
of other arsenal.
Yeah. He's a 6 to 8 to 10 minute guy, something like that.
Oh, see, I thought when I saw him at Bama last year, I think he's 20 minutes a game all day.
Ooh, we'll have to
I
see
think
how this
he's
plays
20 minutes a
out.
game all
But
day.
for where on this roster? Who's he taking minutes from?
Yeah, well, take a look at that roster,
He
man.
gonna take Cheddar's. I guess he thinking.
I ain't telling. Oh no, Cheddar
Cheddar's
is
gotta be on the floor.
freaking possessed.
Yeah, he's got to be.
I mean, he's got steam coming out of his ears.
Listen, I didn't watch
He feels like he hit the lottery, and he
didn't
said that
watch-
to me
absolutely.
with
I
this
didn't watch
team.
the whole game, but
Okay.
Cheddar plays harder than anybody else. And if
Not
he
even close.
continues-
Not even close.
If he continues to play that way, then he gets 20, 25 minutes a game easily. 'Cause
No doubt.
Just effort, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But usually those guys, what happens to those guys that are just, I mean, he's a good player, but really effort guys, what happens to those guys over time, CY?
They get hurt.
I feel like the effort goes
Well,
down.
the
a
effort
little
doesn't go
bit.
down, but they just get banged up. And,
Yeah,
and you-
I
They get
you
hurt
can't-
is what happens.
Yeah, you get banged up. You can't expel that much energy because he's expelling energy when he's in the game, and then they cut to him on TV, and something good happens on the court, and he's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
Run,
He's the
yes.
loudest cheerleader I can
Yes.
recall
I
ever.
mean, running up and down the side, like absolutely going nuts.
Yeah,
It's like-
waving his towel.
Yeah.
Which would be a sweet teammate to have.
I mean,
Oh,
I would
my
love
God.
to have a dude like that.
And he's smart
I
as
was trying to
hell,
do that,
man.
but I never had that much energy, because you can either put that much energy out on the court or on the bench.
He's an academic wizard.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
blowing through everything academically. He's a smart kid.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
really. Juwan talked about this last year. So I mean, you got the ultimate student athlete in Will Cheddar, and I think he's going to be a prominent player. How about Trey Donaldson, Dotman? What do you think?
I like his leadership, what it looks like his leadership skills.
Yeah.
I like his,
Played at
I like
Auburn
his-
last year.
I like his toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this off the record. I don't know what his ceiling is, but that's nitpicking. He doesn't need to be a point producer, bucket guy on his team. He needs to be a table setter, and he looks like he's down.
So I mean, so he's a point guard. I mean, I'm still trying to figure this out.
Yeah, he's a point guard.
I don't know. CY disagrees.
It's,
Is it going to be Reuben Jones? I mean,
Aside from Vlad, it's basically positionless basketball. It really is. I mean, when
That's true.
When Roddy Gale's getting a defensive rebound and outletting it to Danny Wolf, and Danny Wolf is pushing the ball
I know.
and setting up
I
the
know.
offense.
He's
at
running-
7
yeah.
feet tall.
Yeah.
Like this is
Maybe.
here's our 5-man, and these other 4
Wow.
guys are just out there.
is that a good thing?
It seems to be so far.
That'd be hard.
And they're able to switch a whole bunch of different positions. They're able to do a lot of things.
I
So-
still think you need a point guard when you get in these. I mean, they're going to get slowed down by a lot of teams. I
Of
think.
course.
You think they're gonna go buy one?
Well, I mean, I think there's going to be an established point guard somewhere who's going to play that role. You don't think?
I don't think so.
On the-
I
on the
think there's 2 or 3 guys that can bring the ball up and get them into offense. Where it doesn't need to be okay. The one's got the ball, the 2 runs this wing, the 3 runs this wing. It's like no. Here's the 5 spots we got to
That's-
fill. Who's ever got the ball? Everybody else fill in.
That's
Vlad,
true.
Go put your butt under the rim.
Can you imagine the cross matches? Like you get, I mean, you're talking about having a point guard, but if you're bringing the ball up, if you're Danny Wolf, if someone is picking him up who's 6 foot, I mean, that's That's not a problem for
Yeah.
Danny Wolf if he can handle the ball.
Yeah.
That's a problem for the 6-footer.
Yeah,
That's true.
And then on the other side, you got a 6'7" guy picking up Trey.
Yeah, he
And
can.
it's
I mean,
like,
Danny
you
Wolf
know,
is like a
there's-
slasher.
Yeah.
I mean, he slashes to
Yeah,
the
he
lane.
came down the lane one time and switch hands.
Danny
He went up-
Wolf.
He went up to finish with his right hand.
Yeah.
I took away his right hand. He flipped it to his left and scooped it and scored on
Yeah.
the inside
Yeah.
or on the front side of the rim. And I was like,
I don't.
Yeah, that
I mean,
was-
I don't care if you're playing against air. He was impressive.
yeah, he was.
But we'll find out more. I mean, they got Wake Forest, as I said, on Sunday. And then next Friday night, TCU comes to Chrysler.
Yeah.
And then also in December, you got Oklahoma and Arkansas coming
Yeah.
to Chrysler.
Yep.
And you got Western Kentucky, who's always competitive every year, coming to Chrysler. Before they go to USC on January 4th. It was a very athletic team.
Oh, yeah.
Dotman and I were talking about that earlier. You know, they're gonna get beat, obviously.
Oh yeah, they're not going
You know.
undefeated by any stretch.
I mean, I'm not getting caught up in that, but
You guys are talking about it. You guys are
yeah.
That's not what this is.
Yeah, this is not. Oh, yeah. Hey, we
But
blew
this
out
is-
Cleveland State by 48.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is not the Michigan basketball teams that we've watched over the course of the last couple.
You know, it's interesting because what I like about Dusty is he's very he's forthcoming about his conversations with his team. He said, and the players talked about this. He said at practice, when you come into Chrysler, this was at the shoot around on Sunday. If you come into Chrysler, the place might be half filled. Maybe it might get to 3/4, maybe, but you're going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
And those players are they're gonna it's like Trey Downs says, "We're going to sell this place out." I'm telling you that, right? He hit his fist on the table. We're going to sell this place out, and I believed him. Before the end of December.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's all about the product they're putting out on the
are we
court.
getting all twisted up in this, Dotman? I mean, Mr. Lawyer here, you're always trying to even keel
I'm
about
okay
that.
with it. Let's
Yeah.
enjoy it while we can. we see with the football teams how things can go.
Is
negative
this
real
a
quick.
football thing that we're just fleeing to basketball and this is our therapy? Is that what?
Part of it. Part
Yeah.
of it.
But before I want to touch on a couple other basketball things, I want
I
to
want
speak.
to know who the bucket guy is. Late in the game.
Roddy Gale. Roddy Gale.
No.
I think so.
Wolf.
I said that. I positioned that to Dusty at the presser, and he didn't argue with me. I think it's going to be Roddy Gale.
I do too.
Don't you disagree?
No, I think it's Danny Wolf.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Danny Wolf.
Yes.
Okay.
He's such a matchup problem that even if he doesn't get the shot, he'll draw a double
So
team. and he will
he's going to
find
be the
something.
guy that Hunter Dickinson wished he was. Is that what you're saying?
Man, way to dirty up.
Well, the thing is that Danny Wolf, it's like CY going against me, right? I'm 6'4", CY 6'10". My point is that if Danny Wolf has a guy that's 6'6" guarding him, he can get a shot whenever he wants it, right? Similar, I'm not talking like this is not
Yeah.
similar to Kevin Durant, same 7-footers.
Yeah.
You can get a shot when you want it. When you have someone tiny on you, you can get what you want.
Right.
So even if it's a bad shot,
He can still get a shot
He
up.
can still get a shot up.
Yeah.
And
We won't be in situations at the end of the shot clock where we don't have anybody that can even get a shot up.
You know who we haven't talked about, right?
Is
Big fella.
Lod. Yes, and that was a talk point in the presser. Like, yeah, Vlad was like the guy. I mean, that cornerstone. He came up with Dusty from FAU.
Yep.
From Russia, and he's a dude, and he was dominant in practice. But I think maybe he was trying too hard. Don't you
everything
think?
was moving a little fast for him early. He picked up
Yeah.
a couple fouls that really kind of slowed him down.
I mean, he
And
wasn't
at
even getting
halftime,
he wasn't even getting rebounds.
At halftime, he had no points and no rebounds.
He had no rebounds.
No points and no rebounds at halftime.
Hey, man.
Second half, he came
Wow.
out and he was much more of a force. He was keeping his hands out. He wasn't reaching as much. He wasn't trying to just absolutely block
Yeah.
everything like he did early in the game.
Yeah.
He's
So
gonna
it's
be-
an
he's gonna be a
aberration
problem
that-
also because it's kind of, you know.
Can you imagine if he was dominant?
I can't compare him to Zach Edey, but he's the same type of. He wants to play with his back to the basket. He wants to
Yeah.
get down there and bang and score. We haven't had a guy like that in a while.
Yeah, but I ain't seen that game.
Not yet.
He hasn't, and I thought he's on another spectrum.
I didn't
thought-
see him at
I
FAU.
didn't
I don't
think much
recall.
of Danny coming in. Well, I didn't know enough about Danny coming in. I just said, okay, he might be all right.
Yeah.
I thought Vlad would come in though and be immediately a contributor.
The void. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Phil.
I ain't seen that yet.
Well,
he contributed against Oakland. He went right at those
this will
guys.
be interesting against Wake,
Yeah.
and Wake is like Ken Palm, like 45. Michigan's
Yeah.
in. I mean, so it's a it's an
It'll
ACC
be
school.
a much better game.
Yeah. Okay. So another test, and then TCU typically have been a good
Mm-hmm.
team out of Big 12. I mean, there's going to be enough. There's going to be
Oh, yeah.
challenges
Will
moving.
those be competitive games?
I don't know. I mean, this is what-
on paper they should be very competitive.
You know, in brand name alone, they'll be competitive. I mean, it's better than playing Stony Brook or something like
I just
that.
think it's going to be so hard for teams to deal with the pace at this point. Unless
Yeah,
they
because you got
control
big
the
dudes that
pace.
can move.
They're
Yeah.